What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Walker. I am the founder and CEO of Legiit.com. Now, last week on Legiit, we changed the entire online business industry by launching the next phase of Legiit 3.0, which is the Get More Stuff Done dashboard. There's a video before this that you can watch to see a full demonstration of that, and then we're going to go into that, how you can use that in your business in the next video. But what I want to do today is kind of walk you through the history of this and the thought process behind it, and show you how this is part of a 5-year master plan that is just now coming to fruition. I think having that background will help you understand how you're going to be able to use this in your business in the future. And I think it'll be instructive for anybody growing a business or an online business or anything like that, and be very, very helpful to them as well. So what we're going to do is go through what it is and how we got here and how it relates to you in 2023 and beyond. So let's dive into it. I think you're going to enjoy this. I know I had a great time putting it together, so let's check it out. So what we have done at Legiit is basically introduced the platform of the future. Now, I mean it when I say this is the future of online business and that we are ahead of and are breaking new ground. But to understand what that means, we need to kind of look at where we came from and what's led to this moment in time of us upending the entire online business industry and really pushing the industry forward. So before we get into that though, thank you for being here. I always appreciate your support. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So let's keep going. First, we need to talk about the origin story of Legiit itself. A lot of you may know this, a lot of you may not, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it is important to understand how we got here and how we're going to be changing the future. So let's get into it. In 2017, after about 2.5 years, selling SEO services on another now defunct marketplace, I kind of had to, without my choice, move away from it because the site got hacked. It repeatedly went down. It was just completely buggy and unreliable. And I was still counting on it for a lot of my income, and I couldn't count on it anymore, basically. So I had to come up with another solution because I needed the money, to be perfectly honest. At the time, that was my business. So thankfully, I had been smart enough to build my own audience. I don't want to say audience, but take my customers and invite them into a Facebook group, the Superstar SEO Facebook group, and also collect their email addresses and find other ways to build relationships with them and get to know them. And what I ended up doing was building a WooCommerce store to sell my services right there on superstarseo.com. I didn't do a great job of it because I was like emailing them the deliverables and people were constantly not able to find them and all sorts of things like that. And had I known at the time, I would have done something different, but I didn't. And so what I did though, I hired someone from yet another marketplace. That's going to be a theme throughout this presentation, but yet another marketplace to build me, like I said, a WooCommerce functionality into my site, superstarseo.com. And I started moving all of my customers there. And that's kind of what I did to make up for that. But that was how I pivoted, in that particular situation. And what ended up happening was sales ended up being pretty good, actually. Other people, had experienced the same thing, like customers had experienced the same thing on that other marketplace. And they were just as frustrated with it as everybody else was. So they started coming to my store. And when people, like the freelancers from that site ended up seeing how well it was going for me, I had a few people come to me and ask, could they put their own services on my site and sell through me as well? And I did it. It kind of sucked. It wasn't really a good system because, it wasn't really designed. WooCommerce wasn't really designed for that. But, it worked and it worked. It worked. It didn't work well, but it worked. So that's kind of where we were. But that was kind of unsustainable. And fortunately, around that time, the previous marketplace I was talking about, I was acquainted with the owner. I was in a mastermind group of his, and he mentioned to me and to someone else that site cost him about $8,000 to develop. And kind of the light bulb went off for me, and I started talking to people and exploring the idea of making a marketplace of my own. That was never an ambition of mine. I just wanted to make some money and live a nice life. But it turns out, I would find out later, by the way, that the fact that it only cost him $8K explained a lot, because it takes a lot more than that to build a successful marketplace. And yeah, that explains a lot. I'll just leave it at that. I was also fortunate enough around this time to a customer that I met on that marketplace was a web developer and owned a web development agency. And we ended up teaming up and partnering on what would eventually become Legiit.com, which is how we got here today. So let me talk about what the vision for Legiit.com was at various stages, and that'll kind of lead into what we're doing now. The vision initially, to be perfectly honest, was just another product for Superstar SEO to offer to people. I never intended it to be its own separate business. I never intended it to become a big thing. It was just going to be one more add-on product that I could offer to people and make some revenue for myself. Basically a glorified affiliate site, honestly, was kind of the goal. Because at the time I had services, I had clients, I had training, and I had a few other odds and ends that I would make my money through, affiliate sites. And this would just be one more thing. That was the goal. But it didn't take very long after we launched in February of 2018, to realize that I had something far bigger and more special on my hands here. The Amazon of marketplaces. Let me talk about that for a minute. I believe that anything you set out to do, the only way you're going to be successful at it is to know what the end is and where you want to go, and then work backwards or reverse engineer the steps to get you there. And I decided I needed to have an end game, as I like to call it, rather than a goal for Legiit. And in 2019, 2020, when it really began to take off, I started thinking about what that might be, and people started asking me what it might be. And I didn't really know. I knew it was important to know what I wanted to do, and I thought about it, and I knew that I wanted to make like an impact on the world and really do something that changes things for people, but I just still didn't know. And what I came up with was I wanted Legiit to become the Amazon of marketplaces. I didn't really know what that meant, but I knew that Amazon was the world champion in their industry and kind of like almost an adjective for e-commerce at that point. And I wanted Legiit to be the same thing. And that would end up proving to be right and wrong. So I'll explain that in a moment. But before that, with that vision in mind, I started expanding the tool set. And what I mean by that is, as I mentioned, Legiit was originally just going to be one more Superstar SEO product, and it wasn't the only one I was working on at the time. I was busy building out the empire that I envisioned for myself, having different types of software and different training and different services and different things that were all standalone products. But I'm not 100% sure if I knew it at the time, but the master plan for what I had in mind was forming at that time. So that's what we were doing. We were launching tool after tool to help people get more stuff done. That's our slogan, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But we launched Legiit. Around that time, we also launched Legiit Leads, which is, well, I'll just cut and list them off for now. We launched Audit.io, we launched Snap.io, we launched ImageMeta.io, we launched CaptionBox.io. We love us some IOs here. And we launched Optimize SEO, which is a Shopify plugin, among a few other tools that aren't listed here. We were slowly building up the offers, building up the tool belt, whatever you want to call it. We were making moves. But again, the goal wasn't completely clear just yet. And like I said, our slogan is get more stuff done, but that is not just a slogan. It's our guiding principle on what drives us to create what we create for our customers, for the freelancers, for everybody that interacts with our bubble, with our platform. Our goal is to give them the tools that they need to get more stuff done so they can have a more productive and happy and free life. And that's kind of the goal behind all of that. And as we built out all these tools, it kind of started to click for me what we needed to do, but I still wasn't quite there yet. The plan was starting to come together in my head at that point, and to the public, it may have seemed like I was just being an internet marketer with a bunch of disjointed tools that were, I got one of these and I've got one of those, and that really wasn't the case. Mold being created in the background as we built out all of these things. And I didn't tell people that at the time because I don't think building in public is very smart, and I don't think it's great for a great business plan. So I just let people use the different tools, give us feedback, improve them, make some money with them, but also it was starting to be a puzzle where the picture was coming together because we were putting the pieces in place. Having said that, that vision for the Amazon of marketplaces ended up changing. And that happens in life, right? When you have a goal and you start going that direction, you might find that goal isn't the ideal thing for you, or maybe something comes up that you have to change that goal, or the things change and you just go in a different direction. And to some extent, that's kind of what happened next. Around this time, I spelled came wrong, but I came to realize that the vision of being the Amazon of marketplaces just wasn't going to work. First of all, it had never been particularly clear to me what the Amazon of marketplaces was, because in some senses, Amazon is a marketplace in itself. But I started to realize also that marketplaces were a dime a dozen, to be perfectly honest. There's just thousands and thousands of them, as we're going to see in a moment out there. And it's just not, if you want to make an impact, you can't just be another one. You know what I mean? You have to be something unique. So I realized that the vision needed to change. Before we get into why the vision needed to change, I'll give a little insight on how I came up with what came next. And, you know, people want to dunk on certain people in the internet marketing industry, and with good reason. And one of those people that they like to dunk on is Tai Lopez, but I was in a mastermind of his. And one of the books he recommended to me was a book called Modern Monopolies. And in it, they talk about building platforms. And that was kind of the light bulb moment for me, was that book. So I'll leave that at that if you want to go check that out. It's called Modern Monopolies. I even forget the author's name. But the thing is, that helped me realize that standalone marketplaces are way oversaturated. Now, and quite frankly, they're dead. Now, saturated is a word that gets thrown around a lot when people are too lazy to do something, but the truth is that there is a point of saturation where if you want to accomplish something big and the market has just got too much of it, you're never going to be able to stand out from the crowd. And that's how marketplaces are now. Marketplaces, there's tens of thousands of them, often in the same space. And if I was going to, as I'm going to tell you in a minute, put a dent in the universe, I was never going to do that with just another marketplace. Just to give you an example of how many marketplaces out there are, and how bad a job people that create them are doing because they don't know what they're doing, and they don't have the right background or the right money or the right school ethics or the right tools or the right skill set. These are some examples of ones. This is an email I got where somebody randomly subscribed me to their email list. This is someone that posted in the Superstar SEO Facebook group, which I own. Well, which I run. I don't own it. It's on Facebook. But they started some kind of marketplace for e-commerce people, and they don't know how to get customers or freelancers for it. So they were spamming my group with something like this. Here's another one where this guy randomly posted in Superstar SEO Facebook group about some marketplace he was starting that had freelancers for free that were vetted and whatever. And you can see I actually spoke with him, and you can see the conversation there. And I've looked at it, and it's going nowhere. It's got a terrible business model. And no offense to this guy, he's just hustling, but it isn't going to work because there's too many of them and the model is broken. This one was some email where somebody got my email without even asking permission, and then they just randomly emailed me this poorly written email trying to drive me over to yet another marketplace to outsource stuff that I didn't ask to outsource, and they're even name dropping yet a couple of other marketplaces within this. So it's just absurd how many, and we're not even done yet, because now there's an entire community out there called Everything Marketplaces that you can see has over 1,500 members in it, tons of conversation, and that's 1,500 at any one time. People come and go. I was in this for a while. I didn't find it particularly useful. I only made like one post asking about, because we were having challenges doing ad tracking, which we've since solved, but I made a post asking about that. The owner of this community went in and changed my post, the title and the text of it, because he thought it would get better responses with his changes to my question. And then the one person that replied to it, their genius idea was to basically, we were trying to determine the difference between the results we were getting between Facebook and Google ads. And his solution was to turn one of them off and see how it did, rather than set up proper tracking. And it's full of people who think they can start this. The owner of this, I saw a tweet that he posted the other day saying where you could start a marketplace in a day or two. And that's just absolutely absurd, to start something that will actually provide value to people. And and it's just a minor nitpick of mine, but it drives me absolutely insane, is that they refer to the people in a marketplace, and they refer to the customers as the demand and the freelancers as the supply. Like, it just, to me, that's It may just be me, but I find that a bit disrespectful to people. But my point to all of this is that marketplaces it's a flooded, ironically, a flooded market, because they're just, everybody and their brother thinks they can start one now. And there's no way to make a big impact doing just a marketplace, not anymore. So I had to accept that, and I had to change. So let me define the change that we decided to make after the things that we'd been building for a few years and kind of getting that vision made more cohesive through the book and a few other folks that I consulted with. And that was that platforms are the future. Now, you may be wondering what the difference between a platform and a marketplace is. And this is my personal definition, and this is how I'm defining it. And as far as the industry goes, this is pretty close to how it works. So a marketplace is a website or an app that connects customers in need of a product or service with people that have the product or the skill to do that service. So, think of your $5 marketplaces, your up marketplaces, things like that. Or if you just think of it as the website or the app is strictly the middleman. They don't do any of the work, really. They just send in the traffic and they maintain the website and maybe do a little bit of customer support. Think of like a mall or a flea market, if you want to see some outdated business models that are comparable to them. When you go to the mall, most of them in America are completely empty now. And that's kind of what marketplaces are. Although they still have some traffic, it's not going to be sustainable into the future. But in a mall, you go to, I don't really even know, you go to Hot Topic. Hot Topic is the equivalent of the freelancer, and then you are the customer, and then the mall is the marketplace. So hopefully that makes you understand what a marketplace is. Now, a platform, and this is what Legiit now is a technology that provides people the tools needed to build their business upon. So some examples of that are Shopify. Shopify provides a e-commerce platform for people to build stores on top of, to bring in their own traffic and run their business the way they want, built on top of their technology. So is WordPress in a similar way. I still use WordPress for some of my own, for honestly all of my own sites except for Legiit. And then Amazon is a great example because they started as just an online retailer, but they evolved into having a marketplace, to Amazon Web Services, to Fulfillment by Amazon, to Amazon Marketplace. You can literally build your entire business on their infrastructure. And I think that, better than anything else, explains what a platform is that a marketplace is not. It is an infrastructure or a technology that allows you to build a business on top of it, and rather than having to build it all out yourself. And that's where the future of this type of business is going. People that are just doing marketplaces are not going to be around in 5 years. So my goal was, like I said earlier, putting a dent in the universe. I got that quote from Steve Jobs, by the way, so, cite my sources. If you want a business that might make you a little bit of money for the next few years before it comes extinct, and it causes you a lot of headache and a lot of stress in the meantime, then absolutely a marketplace is for you. It's not for me. There are quite frankly far less complex ways to make the same amount of money. You can do it with an agency. You can do it freelancing yourself. You can design your own software, whatever. But like I said, that's not enough for me. I'm not knocking people that it is enough for, although I think that they are, on the Titanic, basically. But for me, I want to make changes that are going to ripple throughout the world and change people's lives forever. And I know how that sounds. I know that sounds probably grandiose or silly or arrogant to some of you, and I don't care. That's what I want to do. That's my vision for this platform. That's my vision for this company, and that's where I'm going to put every ounce of my ability to take us into the future. A marketplace is a niche product. It's not something that people that think big are going to do, and it's not going to get it done. So that's why we have turned the Legiit marketplace into the Legiit business platform. Let me explain what that means and kind of the history of that, how it's rolled out. So phase 0.5 was last year in around March, and that was March 2022, and that was courses. We integrated, as you can see, this is kind of a snapshot of one of the courses I've bought, and it's about sales funnels, and you can see that we have integrated a course hosting platform. We've integrated a course hosting platform right into our marketplace. So it's no longer just a marketplace, it's a platform where you can host your courses or your information products. So that's a multi-billion-dollar a year business that we just added on to our existing business. So you see, now if you have a If you have an information product or a course that you sell, that you are selling information to somebody else to learn things, now you can host that right on Legiit, and you don't have any monthly fees or any of that stuff. And you have the traffic built in, you have the tools to build it built in, and it's just all right there for you. And that was not even the first phase of it. That was just the embryonic, the beta, the 0.5 version of it. The next, and you can see here's kind of a listing of some of the ones that we have in a variety of different niches. We've got graphic design, there's a bunch of SEO, there's a mini chat, there's marketing, there's weight loss, there's life coaching, and we're just getting started. This is going to be something that grows and grows. And there's really nothing else like this. That's where a course hosting platform is built right into another existing platform. But that was us just getting started. And the next phase came in June 2022. That was when we released the social media feed. And the funny story, that was kind of like the first time that I announced Legiit 3.0 to the world. And somebody apparently didn't like that and tried to like DDoS us that day. It didn't work. But you know, when you're doing things that upend people's businesses and change things and make things harder for them, you are going to attract some haters, frankly. And that's unfortunate because it is what it is. But I always think of that when I think of the day that we rolled that out, how I was like crossing my fingers that it held up, and it did. So thank you to whoever for making that possible. But we launched this, and you can see I made a little, I guess, a GIF of it here. And this has got some work to do, but basically this is going to be a way for people to interact on the platform. A customer can post, hey, I didn't find a service that does X, and I need someone that can do this. And that will instantly create a job post. It hasn't gotten there yet. And then when somebody gets a good review, they can share that. Or when somebody launches a new service, they can share that. If they just want to provide some helpful content, they can share that. Basically, we're building in Facebook or Twitter or whatever you want to call it right into Legiit. So there's a way to help our customers get more stuff done by connecting with our freelancers and vice versa. So that was the next phase of Legiit 3.0, of Legiit becoming the platform of the future. That's the social media feed. Lots of great changes coming to that very soon too, although have to keep those under the hat for now. Next up, we had phase 2, which came out just last week in December 2022. This is the biggest shift basically that we've taken toward becoming a platform rather than just yet another marketplace, and that is the Get More Stuff Done dashboard. Now what this is, and this is just a fraction of the tools that I could get into one screenshot, is a way to connect your website, or if you don't have a website, to track your projects, but connect all of that in one place. If you want to see a demo of that, watch the last video that's linked at the end of this video, or come to the next video and we'll kind of go through how you can use that. But basically, this is going to give you everything you need, including services to fix the problems that you have, a score that I don't have pictured here, unfortunately, but an overall score of how your site is performing, how your business is performing, and how you can use that to change it. Then it will recommend, using the 5 years of data that we've built up, it will use AI to recommend courses or services that to help you improve upon it. If you want to learn it and do it yourself, there will suggest a course for that. If you want to get somebody to do it for you, there will be a service listed for that. So it's literally giving you all the data about what's going on in your business and ways to make it better to help you get more stuff done. That is the Get More Stuff Done dashboard. This eliminates the need for so many other tools, by the way. It eliminates the need for Google Analytics. Soon it will pull in some data from Google Search Console, page speed insights, uptime monitor. It's got a on-page SEO. It's got a content audit. It's got a rank tracker. It's got project management. It's got to-do list. It's got a daily quote. And these are just the day one things. This is going to be something that is kind of the hub of the Legiit platform experience. So that's that. And then, so phase 3 coming sometime. So now I don't build in public because I don't think it's wise, and because people have no ethics and will just straight up copy you and try to beat you to market. So I'm not going to build in public, and also because I know how to do proper marketing and don't have to do that to generate interest. But I do like doing these videos and kind of explaining how things go. So I guess that's a little bit of it, but I'm not going to tell you what's coming in specifics. But I will say that soon the platform will have lead generation built right in. So if you're some sort of marketing or SEO or digital agency or something like that, you'll be able to find businesses that need what you do. You'll be able to connect that business before you even sign them up to the Get More Stuff Done dashboard and give them a report from it of their business and how you can improve upon it. We'll have link tracking, meaning you can see the clicks and where they come from built right in, and as well as link shortening, so you can get rid of Bitly and all those other tools. You'll be able to geotag and set the rest of the meta information for your images, which is a factor for local SEO and then for image SEO. And then so to build on that, some of the other tools that we built or acquired as we were fulfilling this vision were Snap.io, LegitLeads.com, and ImageMeta.io. And soon all of those are going to be moved right onto the Legit platform. So it's going to be a cohesive, all-in-one experience. So that will be coming in the months and years to come. So that will all be built right into the platform, as well as those other things that I just told you about. So if you are interested in being part of the future and getting more stuff done, you just come up to legit.com and you can either click Get Started under where it says Welcome to the Future, or if it's sometime in the future and that's changed, you can just click Register, set up your account, and then click Dashboard, and you will be off to the races. You will have access to the future of online business. Then you'll just fill out this form, quickly sign up your account, and that's it. That is kind of what got us here. And let me jump back on camera. All right, so there you have it. That is kind of the origin of the Legit business platform that frankly isn't available anywhere else in the world and by anybody else, because they don't have the data, the drive, and the talent to make it happen. We're bringing it to you for free because we want to help you get more stuff done, and we want you to be a part of our vision for the future and be able to make those changes in your life to do whatever it is you want to do to improve and to have the kind of life and freedom that you want. So if you want to learn more about how it works, there's going to be a video somewhere here at the end that shows you a complete walkthrough and setup of it. And then I'm going to show you an actual application of it in the next video that should also be linked here eventually in the future. And then of course you can sign up for it at legit.com for absolute free. So thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something from it. And more importantly, I hope you'll sign up and get more stuff done and be a part of the future. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.